Okay, today we're going to do some modifications on the new Rodeo 110. I basically took quite a bit of it apart, so just for you it'll be a lot easier and a lot quicker to go through. We'll start with the camera. You'll have one screw at the top, and let me just move this camera a wee bit. And you'll have two screws at the bottom. So once you take them out, that should pop out nice and easy. And also you will have two screws, you can't see that there, that hold the camera on right here at either side, which I've already taken off, like I said, to make things a lot easier. Right, you take them off, and all you need to do is pull the plug out the back of the camera. I'm old, better using my right hand for some reason. And there's your camera. Whoops. Why are you doing that to me, you naughty camera? Right, and there's your camera out. So your camera's out, your guard's out. Just remember to get a little tub to keep all your screws in so you don't lose them. And now you will have 6 more screws to take out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And once you've taken them out, the plate will come off, and this is the actual part that holds the guard in for the camera. It slides back in and out quite easily, like so. Let me get that light round a wee bit more. Right, okay, so we'll take that off just now anyway. Right, the guard's out, and once you're inside you can see all your components. That is your VTX right there. Now before you can get the VTX out, you will need to unscrew this back part where the battery connects into, and you'll find the screw for that just underneath here. I've already unscrewed it. Right. So loosen that screw up a bit underneath the back. Then the only two I need to take out just now is the two that are holding the VTX in. That's here. I've got my camera and my light in the wrong position today. A wee bit of Scottish for you. Right. Now because you've loosened the back battery part, it would, or you've got 3 screws on your VTX, sorry. I missed that one. I forgot all about it. Don't worry about the antennas. If you just gently pull the antennas, well basically what you want to do first is take these little rubber caps off. They just slide off the antenna itself just like that. And gently push the antenna through and pull it out, and there's your antenna out. And just do the same with the other one. Take the rubber cap off, slide it up. It's in a little rivet here that you can see. Push the antenna through it, and it will come out. Now what I've done, I've already disconnected the pigtail from the board. It's quite easy to do. Just be careful. Don't if you've got long nails you'll be able to pick it off. If you don't, get a tiny little screwdriver and just kind of gently ease it off, or even needle nose pliers, and just kind of gently take it off. I've already, so after you've taken your pigtail off, you can just take the antenna right out. Okay, so we'll put that aside just now. what I've done is I've snipped the wires to the battery socket at the moment. The reason why I want to change this socket is I found a little problem. You know, when you put your plug in, your battery in, and once you're finished, say you've got greasy hands, or your hands are sweating, or you've got big fingers, trying to get that battery plug out of there is a nightmare. And sometimes it can be stuck in there, and you're tugging and well, you feel like you're going to break the back end. Now, what I have found is, if I take the screw out of here just now, you will see, I don't know if you can see now. No, wait a minute. Right, okay. So once you've snipped the wires, look underneath. The only way you're going to get this IST socket out is there's another 2 screws under here. So you want to take them out as well. The only way I can show you this is by taking this off. And once you've taken that out, that's what you've got. And basically, it just pushes out like that. Right, so we'll put that aside. You don't have to use this bit ever again if you're going to do the battery, change the battery socket on it. But what I did want to show you is, when you've been pushing and tugging all that time, you'll see there's a split right there, and where the screw goes in on the plastic. So that's not good, even though it's held down by another 2 screws underneath the carbon fibre. That's not good. Anyway, that's telling you that it's just a little bit too tight in there, and it's causing that little screw holder to split in half. Right, so that wasn't the only reason I was doing the modification. I just wanted, it was a pain in the bum just plugging the battery in with the JST plug all the time, and trying to take it out was a nightmare. It was too fiddly. Now, right, I'll put that aside. So basically, my idea is, I've already got an XT30 plug wired up, and I'm just going to slot it through the top, and I'm going to measure the length, how much I need, and I'm going to, like I said, I've snipped the wires, and I'm just going to solder them onto the main power wire. Now, you don't need to do it this way. You can do it the hard way if you want. You can take the whole board out and solder it to the board, but I don't see any point in that, because if you get a good solder job done here, you're not going to lose any power, you know. And I would recommend that you always use flux. I don't care if you use rod and quiller solder, you know what I mean. Always use flux. If you ever soldered, be a fluxer, don't be a non-fluxer. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. That's the way I'm going to do it. I'm not quite sure how much wire or lead, or how I actually want it, because if I ever crash again, this will need to be taken apart, you know. But if I'm setting it to about there, say, that look, with it just kind of setting up here, that's not too bad, you know. Not too bad, I think. When it's done, you'll see when it's done anyway. Right, that's that out of the way. That's how you get the battery out, and the reason why I was doing the battery, because of that split at the back, and because of the problem trying to plug the battery in and out. Right, now we've unscrewed the VTX, and now it's time to take it out. It's disconnected in there with, how many pins is it? 6 pins. Yeah, get 6 pins connected in there with, and that's your whole VTX there. Okay, and your boards. Right, now antenna mod. I'm just running through this with you just now because I'm gonna solder it all up and show you how I've done it. You can buy a 4-leaf clover with a pigtail on it, but why do that when you already have a pigtail? So where are you, Mr. 4-leaf clover? My idea basically is to cut the cable and cut the 4-leaf clover cable and just solder it together. Now I'll need to get the measurements right for this. What you want to do is make sure you seal the internal pin away from the outer shielding. Okay, you don't want it touching each other or else you will blow your VTX up. The cable on the clover is a lot thicker than the pigtail, but I'll still manage it. I'll put little bits of video clips up of how I'm doing it when I get to that stage. Okay, so that's my intention. I need to make the 4-leaf clover, well, the cable as short as possible, and it should fit in. Let me have a look. Yeah, it should fit in there quite nicely, and I want to make that as short as possible as well. Right, so that's the mod we'll be doing there. Now the camera mod. Oh, before I go on to that, see, when you take this front shielding off for your camera, this little plastic LED light cover, that falls off. Mine fell off. It wasn't glued in. It's just put in by 2 little pins and it just falls off, so be careful when you take that off. Right, camera time. Hello little box, where are you hiding? Ah, I know where you are. You're in here. Sorry about this, by the way. I don't know if I'm going to leave this part on camera just for the fun of it, or not, because right, let me just move out of the way. I've got 2 little boxes here. I kind of mark them. Right, is this the one? Nope, that's not the one. Yes, this is the one, right. This is the bit. That's the front guard where all the screws are taken out that I've just left in there. Right, this is the actual camera that was on the quadcopter. Now, if I unscrew the back, I want to show you something. I want to show you the difference between something. Like I said, boring watch me unscrew stuff. But who cares? I'm doing it anyway for the fun of it. Right, can we get in there? Can we? Will you? Come on, macro up. Give me light. Macro up. Right, can you see that? Right next to the socket here, you've got V for video. In the middle you've got ground, then you've got your 5 volt. So that's just telling you that far right pin there is your video signal, the middle one's ground, and your 5 volt positive socket little pin is on your left hand side, right? Comparing that to what I have here, this is just the normal Rodeo 151 that has no markings or nothing next to the socket itself. I mean, if you were to set the... I'll take it out. Let me just take it out. If you set the cameras together, they are the same. They're slightly different. You know, on my right hand side, this one is the new one, the Rodeo 110, and the 151 here. There's markings and numbers on the chips that are different. It is slightly better quality, but I don't know, there seemed to be some kind of blurry filminess over the camera. I mean, it's not the lens, it's not the focus. I don't know what they've done. I really don't. And like some other people have said, why haven't they got it right this time? I have no idea, because this little camera here that you can get, as you very well know, from Banggood.com. I mean, it just blows these little rodeo cameras out of the water. They're crystal clear, you know. This is 600 TVL, and so are the Walkera ones. But you can get 700 TVL ones as well. There is another one just out. I should have it within, hopefully, the next week. I actually want to use that one. It's a 1000 TVL CMOS camera that is just a bit smaller than this, that will fit there, and it runs the right voltage. So I'm going to be using that. I might just use the 600 TVL one just now, then swap it over to the 1000 TVL one. But anyway, that's it. Just before you start to snip the wires and solder up, just remember what cable is what. Just remember what one's your signal, your positive and negative, alright? So I've got it plugged up here for you. I hope you can see that. So if you have a look at the plug, when you take it off, you've got your video signal to the far left, you've got your ground in the middle, which is negative, and you've got your positive on the right hand side. We're going to attach the camera to the actual holder. Now we're only going to use the swivel part of the holder. This is the exact same way that I did the Rodeo 150. I've used this 3mm double sticky foam tape under there, but I've used another, I think it's 1mm on top of that, and I'm just going to peel that off. What I'm going to do is add some sugar on top of that, and fit the cable through here. I'm not going to use the plug and socket. Once I've got all that stuck on there quite nicely in the middle, I'm going to cut the socket off, both the plug from the quadcopter and from the camera, and just solder it together, because I tried just plugging it in, but there's no room, so you're better just soldering it up. And since I've already soldered leads up here, I'll just solder it here, and then, well, that's just the way I'm going to do it. I don't think, the reason why I'm doing that, I don't actually think there's enough wire on the cable from the quad to go through the holder and down and solder onto the camera. That's why we would have to do it that way. Either way, you would have to extend the wiring. So basically it's already extended. So I'm going to put some sugar on there. The camera, also, when you get it, you can just wiggle the microphone off. You don't need it, and the extra white wire, just snap that off as well. These are my own wires that I put on, because the wires that come with the camera are just a little bit too they're a wee bit too tough. They're not flexible enough, you know. So don't forget to wire it up right, because if you blow it up, don't blame me. Right, what we want to do, well, you don't actually need to, but I've took the heat shrink off the stock antenna, okay? I'm not going to take the bell off. I'm basically just going to snip the wire, the antenna wire right there. and I'm going to pull it back. Okay, I've cut about a centimetre of the actual covering off so I can get to the braiding, and I'm going to peel it back just a little bit. So we can get into the inner part. I'm just going to pull it all the way back. And then with my trusty old blunt knife, I'm going to cut about that much. Why am I not on camera? Oh, I am. Need to be very gentle cutting this because it's very, very small. I would rather. There you go. Off you come. Alright, I've got that off now. So that's that ready. Now, all we need to do is get our 4-leaf clover all ready to solder up onto that and shield that inner cable. That's the inner pin soldered together, and there's heat shrink underneath there. And now I've connected their braiding to each other, and I've put quite a bit of flux on there, maybe too much, and I'm going to just gently spread some thin amount of solder around there so it will spread nice and neatly. And then I'll just put a bit of heat shrink that seemed to have disappeared on me. I don't know where it went. It's lying around here somewhere, but I can just pop that on the bottom and heat shrink it off. Right, so that's what I've done so far. And that's me, all done. I'm keeping my fingers crossed I haven't seeped any of the solder through to the middle pin, but I don't think I have. And it might be just a little bit long, but I'm sure we can bend these wires and manipulate them inside the case. But it does feel rather heavy compared to the stock one, but I'm not too bothered about that. We'll see how it goes. There'll be spares for your Rodeo 110 quite soon, so we all like to mod. That's it done. Right, next step is right. Okay, that's the battery, and I've tested it all out. So I've got this antenna, right? That's the battery socket all wired up, and the antenna in there. I'm just going to put the receiver wires in now and pop the rubber caps on and put the camera in, and where's that screw? I better not lose that screw, and show you some more. Now what I've done is I'm putting everything back together again. Everything's just sitting in there quite. Let me get this lamp over here. That's a lot better. You can see everything's sitting in here quite nicely. The plug, the antenna, and I'm just at this moment putting the last little antenna ear little plug on to the back end and get on there nice and there you go. Now we've got to find a way really to move these antennas away from the actual VTX transmitter antenna. You never know, you probably get quite a lot of interference. I'll work on that later, but that's not the most important thing. So like I says, there you go, 8230 plug, all wired in. 4-leaf clover, all soldered up, plugged in. I have tested it. I asked my son to go in the other room with my goggles while I plugged it in. The VTX did not blow up and he said he'd get a picture. Haven't flown it outside to see how strong the signal will be, but I'm going to have to test it as well myself in the house. So from what my son sees and what I see will be two different things. Also, as you can see, I don't know what part of the board this is. The little ribbon cable's attached to. But I've seen in quite a few folks' boards, they're squinty. I don't know why. If you can kind of move it a little bit. But they've also made a little, if you can see it here, a little cut off inside so that doesn't touch against the carbon fibre. Obviously because carbon fibre is conductive. Okay, that's everything complete. The camera installed, the antenna, and the battery socket to put your battery plug in. There's only one more thing I am going to do though, is I'm going to put a little bit of Gorilla tape around the antenna to this little rubber cap, or you could use a bit of hot glue, just so it doesn't slide out when you're flying. And one more thing I have noticed, under here, your little pigtail, it seems to be a little bit too close to that carbon fibre if you ask me. So I'm going to put a little bit of black tape underneath and around the carbon fibre there, because that will cause some interference, and I think that is what's causing some interference. It shouldn't be touching that carbon fibre. That's it, job done, all complete. I hope you enjoyed all these mods that I have showed you, and if you liked it, like it, and you know what to do. Happy flying, and don't forget to subscribe.